What is up, beautiful people? It is your girl, Nicole Young, and I am back after a pretty long hiatus with another video, and I'm really excited and a little nervous to share this one with you guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about, you guessed it, why I quit my first job in tech. And I will admit, this is about the third time I've attempted to record this video, because every time I record it, I go too deep into detail and it comes off as me being shady, and that is not my style. So I'm gonna try my best to stay high level about the things that have affected me that would potentially also affect you all. Before I get into this video, one thing I do want to say is thank you to all of you who have been subscribing and interacting and watching the videos, especially when I took 2 weeks off this past 2 weeks. I really so appreciate how much you guys have still been just supporting this channel, and I just want to say thank you. I see that the channel is now above 100 subscribers, and that is amazing to me because I've only been doing this for a short while, and I definitely see that you guys are loving it and supporting. So thank you, I love you. All right, let's get started. So there are 3 overarching things that I dealt with throughout my time at my first tech startup that led me to saying peace out for good. One big thing was that because it was a startup and it was a high growth startup, meaning that we were growing very rapidly over the course of just a few short years. So the first thing that I would say led me to leaving my job was the environment. I definitely feel, especially especially the months leading up to my leaving, the work environment was just so toxic. Every day I would get up and just dread having to go into work because the work environment that was being created by a lot of people in leadership was one where it was super tense, super process focused, not really people focused, not really thinking about making an environment where everyone felt included and supported. I felt like it was work more with no real benefit out of it aside from the paycheck. Whereas when I first got started, if you've seen my previous videos in this series, you'll know that I definitely had positive experiences. When I first started, the environment that was being cultivated was definitely not one that was being maintained as we grew and expanded. And I'm sure that that is a huge problem with a lot of startups, because it is really difficult when you are just still forming an organization or a company to also make sure that you are sustaining a workable and friendly and supportive environment. And that can be a lot more difficult to do when there's more people. So obviously, I'm sure a lot of people leave their jobs because of toxic work environments. At least I would hope you would leave a job if the work environment is super toxic. I'm someone that can adjust to a shifting environment and had to adjust multiple times as the company shifted and changed and grew. But when the status quo became a very toxic, tense, pressure-filled work environment, that was just when I was just like, nah, it's not gonna work for me. The second thing was values that the company was holding were not values that aligned with my own. So I wanna always be able to say that I am working for causes and for missions that are aligned to what I love. And something that I've been really passionate about lately is diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts in the tech space, and began doing work on the side through my company to try to help the diversity and inclusion efforts within the company. And as things grew and changed, we had some changes in leadership and changes in direction. And I noticed that there was a huge shift in things being more people focused, more customer oriented to being more process and profit focused. And so I realized that there was just a huge misalignment with what I was passionate about and where the company was being driven. And again, like I said, I don't want to be with a company that has values that don't align properly with mine. The final reason why I left, and this was the main reason, and this was the reason why when I left, it was a pretty abrupt leaving. I literally gave 1 day notice. It was a Wednesday, I believe, when I decided that I was going to quit, and I came in Thursday morning. I let the necessary people know that I was going to quit. I put in my letter of resignation and then literally passed off all of my duties that Friday and then never came back. So it was definitely really abrupt the way I left, but the main reason why was because I was tired. I was so tired, and not just tired. Like, you get exhausted, you get really sick of a job, and I get that. Like, as a millennial, I know like we all get that way about jobs. I haven't met one millennial who just like gets into a job and loves it forever. If you are that person, that is awesome. I think it's great, but I've never met anyone in my age group that is like that. But the kind of tired I'm talking about is like a tired that penetrated the depths of my core. I was exhausted. And the reasons that led me to being exhausted were, number one, I never considered how much of a physical and mental and emotional toll that code switching takes on me as a person. I've never been in a situation where for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, sometimes even more than that, I was having to code switch into this very precise version of myself. I was very calculated about the way I spoke. I was very calculated about the way I moved in the space and in the environment. And that was exhausting. And I'm sure if you are someone who feels that you have to code switch to survive in your industry, that you understand it. Because if you know, you know. The reason I felt like I had to code switch was just because for the majority of my time at the company that I was with, I was the only African American person on staff. And early on, I noticed how that was probably going to affect me. I noticed that the way individuals interacted with me was a little different, maybe a little more formal or more like calculated. I definitely feel like the efforts to be an inclusive work environment wasn't there. Even as we added more people of diverse backgrounds to our team, people of color, more women to our team, I definitely still think that a place where that company struggled was with inclusion efforts. I felt like the issue of me not feeling really truly included in the team or on the team, I was made to feel like that was my own personal issue that I had to just get over, and not one that the company should have been making better. And I definitely think that I've worked enough in different industries to know that it is always the leadership or company's issue if people on lower levels of the team don't feel included. Like, that is not that person's problem or those people's problem. It is everyone's problem if everyone doesn't feel included. It became even more so an issue when I tried to pursue other opportunities within the company. I don't personally feel like I was given a fair shot at those new opportunities, but ultimately, like, being tired was a huge reason why I had to do it. And let me just say that if you are someone that's in a job right now and you are miserable and you are losing sleep and you are stressed all of the time, and find something else to do. Like, for your own health and well-being, there is no job out there, I guarantee you, there is not one job out there that is worth sacrificing your mental and physical and emotional well-being. There's not one. And ultimately, I said bye-bye because it was no longer worth it to me. Trying to prove myself to people who clearly weren't going to see the true value that I brought to the team. And let me just say, despite it all, it was the best decision that I've made ever, because now I have time to devote to actually studying something that I'm really passionate about, which is coding and learning how to do that. And I've been able to start working freelance, which means that I am being able to be more of an entrepreneur, and that journey has been really rewarding and really fun so far. And I'm super stress-free now, so I mean, obviously that's a plus too. Rant is over. My experience is my own. I didn't have a 100% positive experience in my first job in tech, but I'm so grateful for having that opportunity because I learned so much. I was exposed to so much throughout it, and I figured out what works for me and what doesn't work for me. I grew a lot, but that is all I had for you in this video. I'm going to continue throughout the month of March for Women's History Month, continue to talk about my experiences as a Black woman in tech. So be on the lookout for those videos every Monday. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe button, click the notification bell, and leave me some comments. Like this video, help me out, and continue to help grow and support this community. I'm so excited about where it's going so far, and I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one.